You are listening to Loud on the Set with Kyle and James. And now for a little more Rocky and Star Wars discussion. And action!
All right, welcome back to the show. My name is Kyle.
This is James.
And today, we're doing something a little bit different than something we've done before. We're going to look towards the future instead of reliving our past a little bit. And we might relive our past a little bit as well. But James, what's the topic for today?
Movie news.
Movie news.
Movie news.
This just in, we have a special guest today.
Yes.
Joining us is the absolutely wonderful Sonia. Say hi, Sonia.
Hello, everyone.
Yay! And we're really excited to have her here.
Oh, man.
And yay!
All right.
Yay, indeed.
Inside joke.
So, so Sonia, you like movies, don't you?
I really do.
Excellent. So we're going to hear about some movies that we're looking forward to, maybe movies that we've seen recently that we're excited about. And but first, should we do
but
something?
first we have the segment of the show that we call Why Should We Bother Listening to You, right?
Right.
Why should we bother listening to you? Sonia, introduce yourself. Tell us something interesting about yourself. Anything you want.
Well, I studied marine biology, so I'm really well versed in all the aquatic monster movies, which I know we're not discussing right now, but they're a favorite of mine. I used to really, really want to make films when I was a kid, especially stop motion animation.
Kyle loves that stuff too.
We can have a long conversation about that.
I'm a big fan.
Yay!
I have absorbed many movies in the day, but not as much recently.
Yeah? Well, that's because we have, 9-to-5ers now, right?
Sonia works with us as well, right?
Yes.
We don't want to ever give away where.
Smart idea.
Yes.
We're all here. We're all here and we're all happy, yeah.
Okay, so I'm just going to start us out with any movie that we're looking forward to in the near future. So let's just go around and think of anything that we're looking forward to. Something that's maybe come out that we haven't seen, something that's coming out soon. So we'll start with Sonia, because you're our guest here. Is there anything you're looking forward to?
I'm excited about the new James Bond, honestly.
Ooh, yeah.
I have no idea what it is because I don't watch television and never see trailers. I know, it's really sad.
Yeah.
But
fresh.
I grew up on James Bond. I think I've seen all of them. My dad and I used to sit around and watch the James Bond marathons they'd have on Superstation. And
I am so happy with what you're saying right now.
Yeah.
Because if you've listened to the podcast before, I'm a huge James Bond fan.
Yes.
And I really like them. And James over here, James,
Still haven't seen
hasn't seen one James Bond movie.
That's probably why he treats women so well. Honestly.
Right. Hey.
That could be totally true. All right, you buddy, what's on your upcoming agenda?
Well, I think I speak for the entire planet when I say Star Wars: The Force Awakens.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen every trailer at this point. In fact, just yesterday, or very, very recently anyway, I even watched a trailer that was exclusively released in Japan. And boy, was it YouTube. You can find it. I'm making it sound like I got some fucking guy on the inside feeding me trailers. No, you just find it on the internet. Just find it on YouTube. You haven't seen it yet, Kyle?
I haven't seen that
trailer.
I
don't know. That's even different from bootleg in Ecuador.
Oh.
Yes.
Anyway, it's good. But let me tell you why I'm so hyped up about it. Ready? I'm gonna say something bold, Kyle. You may want to just brace yourself.
Okay.
I want to take this moment to thank George Lucas. For episodes 1, 2, and 3.
Oh, man.
Why?
Whoa, that's really going out on a limb.
I'll tell you why. If it weren't for the complete garbage that those 3 movies were, and they fucking sucked, all 3 of them, we wouldn't be so hyped for this. The episodes 1, 2, and 3, we bottomed out, or they bottomed out. I had nothing to do with it, right? I didn't fucking make those movies.
Wait, are you saying this was planned?
No, I'm not saying it was planned. I'm just saying, think about it. We bottomed out. We completely bottomed out. Those movies sucked so bad that if they were good, we would never have clamored for this current J.J. Abrams version.
I can see that.
And so now we've been crushed, and now the hype and the anticipation is perhaps even greater than episode 1. I don't know about that, but
here's something interesting on that topic too, because I've talked to a few youngsters who weren't of our original trilogy growing up, whether that was the original trilogy in the theater or the VHS releases that I had. But the youngsters that grew up and saw the prequels in the theater really enjoyed them, and to them, that is what Star Wars is. And I'm like having heart palpitations right now saying that.
Just saying it.
But yeah, it's definitely, I think this new one coming out is like for us. It's that continuation of that original story that we want. I bet there's young people out there that are like, well, why aren't they talking more about Darth Vader and where
cool pod racing?
Yeah. Right? So yeah, I think it's very situational to us and everything. Okay, so for sake of not continuing that, I was, of course, excited for Star Wars as well.
Well, think about it this way. Remember when they released The Amazing Spider-Man recently? And everyone was going, why are you doing this? We just had a good trilogy. we just finished a good trilogy with Tobey Maguire, and yet they rebooted it, and the reception was at best because we just had 3 good movies. But with the Star Wars, we had 3 excellent movies and then 3 garbage movies. So now we're looking to rebound. What do you think, Sonia, before we move on?
You know, I'm really feeding off of the enthusiasm that I'm hearing from the old school fans because I watched the originals. I enjoyed them. I loved them. I didn't even get through the other ones. I saw 1 and a half of them because they were so bad.
Misa so sorry.
Oh my gosh, so bad. And so I'm really surprised to hear how excited everyone is. And I was kind of expecting a little bit more cynicism. I have to say.
That's true, because I've heard from a lot of diehard Star Trek fans that they were not very satisfied with the Abrams adaptations of Star Trek. Even though as a general movie-going experience, I think that they got it pretty well for everybody. But for those diehard fans, and like for those diehard fans of the original trilogy, I'm still holding my breath. Because from what I've seen in the previews and everything, it's got the heart and soul that was the original Star Wars, so... I hope that rings true. I was going to say Star Wars for my movie that I'm looking forward to, but I'm going to change it for the sake of moving us forward a little bit. A little film by the director of Birdman, if you have seen that recently. Birdman. Coming out, I want to get the date right. Oh, on Christmas. Interesting. It's called The Revenant. We seen previews for this yet? Anybody seen previews for this?
Leonardo DiCaprio?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Leonardo running around in the snow for what appears to be probably 2.5 hours. Standard
the recap
drama.
of the Titanic water scene.
But the film work in this, from everybody I've talked to and all the things that I've read, this was one of the most grueling shoots of all time. And there's lots of interviews with DiCaprio about it and how crazy it is. And I hope that that level of enthusiasm and love and pain and heartbreak goes into this story, which I won't spoil because I only read a little bit and I was like, I don't want to know anymore because I kind of wanted to go into it cold. But it looks like it's cold. Get it? Oh man, I hate when I pun accidentally.
Yeah, sure, that was accidental.
But I'm really looking forward to that one. That's on my radar coming out on Christmas apparently, which is interesting. So yeah, that's one I'm looking forward to.
Excellent.
I have one that maybe, I don't know if you have been thinking about this or at all, but I just recently heard that Room was made into a movie. And Room was a book about something extremely scary, which is someone getting abducted and then held in someone's backyard shed for years.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yikes.
And and they made a movie out of it.
Oh, good.
And I'm excited and not excited to see this movie because, well, that's the stuff that nightmares are made of.
Right. That kind of falls into a category of a podcast I want to talk about in the future, which is movies I saw and thought were good, but did not enjoy and won't see again. Because sometimes the film work and the actual craft of the movie is amazing, but they're films I never wish to see again and did not necessarily enjoy sitting through.
Just let me know. I'll submit a list to you on that one.
Who's making this one? Pixar?
I'm kidding. A fun family romp.
Right. Yeah, I got one for you guys.
Okay.
It's coming up real soon. And
I knew you were going to say it. I just saw it on your list.
It's relevant because we've had podcasts about Rocky. We had, a podcast. And that is...
Surprised.
Creed.
Creed, indeed. Yeah, what do we think about yet another installment in essentially the story, the timeline, the life of Rocky Balboa? Sonia, what do you think?
I'm speechless.
Kyle, what do you think?
I just can't believe that it's still getting cranked out at this point. But my hope is that because Stallone keeps his like hand on these for the most part,
Mm-hmm.
and when he's involved in them, which he is, and I hope that they just try and innovate like they tried to
Yes.
innovate with the last one, because Rocky Balboa, if you saw it, was actually a pretty interesting movie.
Yeah.
It definitely departed from the formulaic, horrible sequels that just follow behind it. So if they innovate and try something new, they've got a really good young actor, Michael B. Jordan, in that one, who's doing a really good job in lots of films. So I don't know. I'm sure I won't go see it in the theater or be amped about it or anything, but I don't know. It could surprise and maybe be entertaining.
Yeah, I have mixed feelings.
But I just want it to be over. It's too tiring.
Yeah. I have mixed feelings.
It's gonna be Stallone in the retirement home fighting. Like,
I
it's
have
gonna be bad.
a really important question.
Okay.
Do you think that someone who has not followed the Rocky sequence and is not a diehard fan would get anything out of a movie like this?
Here's the thing about that I thought Rocky Balboa like tried to hook new people onto it and give you a new story. So from a production standpoint, the producers, I think that would be something really smart for them to do. Hook you on a new story and be like, oh, that's good. Sneak some of that stuff in there so then you'll go back and like catalog with the rest of the process. So I don't know. I think that you probably could. Not as much as anybody else who's going to watch it.
It's going to be tough, and I'll tell you why. The original Rocky, as we detailed in this podcast, succeeded because it was a rags to riches, American dream, underdog, fight your way to the top.
They've definitely
kind of story.
never even come close to the quality of the first one.
Yeah, and so can you replicate that with Apollo Creed's kid? As far as I'm concerned, Apollo Creed was an incredibly wealthy individual, right? And his wife and kids were probably very well taken care of. And so can you use the angle that this guy's down on his luck, which they've milked to death in the Rocky series?
True.
Not really. And you know what? We can leave this movie because we don't have to spend so much time on Creed, right? I'm not so Kyle, back me up here. I'm not so sure the time frame matches up with like chronologically.
No.
Let's pretend that Michael B. Jordan's character of Apollo Creed's son is in his 20s in this movie.
Right.
Apollo Creed died in
Spoilers.
in Rock. Spoiler
Not
alert,
that
Rocky
anyone
4.
cares.
He died.
You know what you're getting into at this point.
Sonia's never seen it.
No,
Anyway.
don't worry about me.
Apollo Creed died at the hands of Ivan Drago in the mid to late 80s.
Yeah.
And so he would have had to have had this kid right before he died for him to squeeze into that like late 20s time. You see what I'm saying? Like,
Or
it doesn't make sense that he has a kid. It doesn't make sense that he has a kid this young.
cryogenically
Right?
froze his sperm.
Oh.
Ooh.
Now we're getting into hard sci-fi here.
You know, this is something
Cold
that,
Creed.
oh.
Oh my
Oh,
god.
God. All right.
All right.
Dumb.
Okay,
Enough of
so
that.
I'm gonna run
Dumb
through a
shit.
couple movies off of a list that I've been looking at that are coming out, and I'm gonna say them, and I just want to hear your initial reactions to them.
Speed round.
The first of which, The Hunger Games: Mockingjay Part 2. James.
I don't give a fuck. Sonia.
Oh, so excited.
Yeah.
Are you really?
Okay.
Yeah.
Was that genuine?
Very
Oh, man.
polarizing. Yes.
Such good movies.
Wait a minute,
I
I can't- that's
enjoy
the-
them every freaking time. I enjoy them so much. I just sit in the theater and I'm like, oh,
I can't tell if you're being sarcastic.
No.
She's being serious.
I love them. I think they're beautiful and they're suspenseful, and I kind of have the hots for the main character, and just yeah.
So here's where
All
James
right.
and his lack
Especially-
of young adult fiction appreciation won't fall into play. But I think that these stories and this character are very relevant and very good for a lot of people to be exposed to, because they're trying to do a lot of for feminism and everything.
Yeah.
They're trying to do
All right.
a lot of
And
good stuff there.
political messaging.
There's very subtle wink political messaging throughout the whole thing. Anyway, I want to go to another one now. We talked about Creed. That was actually on my list. Here's an interesting one I just saw a trailer for. In the Heart of the Sea. Has anybody seen a trailer for this?
No, but
I
as
have.
a marine biologist, my interest is piqued.
Well, it'll be soon not peaked, probably.
Oh.
But, no, maybe it will. I don't know. Ron Howard film, which I was like, what? And Chris Hemsworth, and I was like, what? And then the tagline really confused me because it said, based on the legend of Moby Dick.
or based on the story that inspired Moby Dick.
And I was confused because
like
was
two
it a
links of
legend? I
separation.
thought it was just a story somebody came up with. Is there like a historical legend behind the Herman Melville?
Hold on. What's the definition of legend?
Well,
here?
true. Okay, maybe it's
Fictional
we've
story.
departed. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I don't know. But anyway, it's I mean, I guess it's a adaptation in some format of Moby Dick. They're not titling it Moby Dick, so
Okay, I'm
based
excited.
on the, I mean, there's a giant sperm whale in the preview that's messing up this boat, and it looks like it mostly takes place right there.
I'm there.
So I know I was,
I'm there.
I'm almost on board for the spectacle,
smashing thing. Yes.
and I don't know what to expect story wise or anything, but I don't
Well,
know.
it's Ron Howard, so he's good at that stuff.
He is good at that stuff.
He's got a formula. He knows.
Did you see the last Ron Howard Chris Hemsworth movie that they put out? Oh my god, I can't even remember what it's called.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Rush. About the
Oh.
Formula One
No.
racing.
Mm-mm.
It was really good.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what is piquing my interest about this. Because Ron Howard definitely, I love you, Ron Howard, has had his ups and downs in Hollywood with
What's
film.
been one of his downs?
Oh, he had a rom-com with these two dudes, King of Queens guy, I can't remember his name.
Kevin James.
Kevin James and somebody else.
I can't believe I knew that.
It was not good.
All right, don't worry about it.
But he's had his ups and downs. But I mean, you make Apollo 13, and it's like, what?
I'm learning so much right now.
Yeah. Anyway, In the Heart of the Sea, I'm curious about. Anyway, Alvin and the Chipmunks, the Road Chip is coming out. So
Oh my god.
moving on.
What the fuck?
Okay, here's one. This is interesting. The Hateful Eight. Have we seen any trailers for this yet?
No,
This is the new
what's it
Quentin Tarantino movie.
Oh.
Wait, is it about the cops?
No, this is about, or maybe, I don't know. It's about a bunch of people that are trapped in this huge snowstorm at this lodge, and it's a Western.
Ooh.
It's a new Tarantino film, so obviously there's a ton of hype and focus around it. I don't know. So that kind of bridges another discussion.
Well, the reason why I asked is about the cops. Have you seen Tarantino in the news lately?
No.
Came out with very
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I did see that.
We'll save
yeah.
that. We'll save that for some other day. But
Interesting.
Yeah.
fiery statements to say the least.
He did. But
Fiery.
what are the quick feelings on Tarantino? Anybody have any?
I don't really like violent films, but I love Tarantino films.
Interesting.
I think he does it really artfully.
He
and there's
definitely
always
does it artfully.
there's the subtle humor. I love subtle humor. It's not right in your face. It's just the little situational things where you stop in the middle of a really violent, horrible, like, if you really think about it, something horrible's going on.
That
And
dude's
then
brain is so messed
something
up.
funny happens. A little look, a little eyebrow twitch, whatever, and it just makes the whole scene.
What do you think, James? You seen any Tarantino?
Not really.
Not really.
I mean, I've seen enough, and yeah, I could take it or leave it, and I mostly leave it. We'll talk about some. I have comments about that.
I think he's a fantastic writer, and I've almost loved every single one of his films. There's usually one or two pieces of them where it goes too far for me, or it goes off a rail of. I just get confounded, but I think that he is a very talented individual. Okay, then we have two films also coming out on Christmas, along with The Hateful Eight and The Revenant, as I said before. One of them is called Concussion.
Oh yeah, with Will
Did
Smith.
we hear about this?
Yep.
It's about the NFL and the big scandal about hiding the effects of concussions on their players and everything. And from what I've heard, the people involved with it don't want to hold back and aren't holding back and aren't afraid of any drawback. That being said, who knows whose hands are in the honey pot when it comes to films and budgets and things. Yeah. But I hope that they try and do a realistic and informative take on that, because that's a huge issue. Yeah. I love football, and I tragically say that as I'm also confounded and horrified by these stats and figures and things a lot.
Yeah.
But it'll be interesting. I mean, it'll cause a little bit of concern, and it'll have an effect for a bit. It'll be like Super Size Me was to McDonald's. You know, like people will get upset for a little while, and then they'll
be like, Monday Night Football.
Yeah. Boy, I'd love to go protest the NFL right now, but I'm too busy throwing all my fucking money at them. You know, like
well, yeah, you'll probably no one will stop watching it.
Exactly.
But will they?
It's a juggernaut.
Will they encourage their kids to get into it? Maybe not as much. I don't know.
That's a good point. Maybe they'll hope for more more
Safe
safety
practices.
Right, everything.
Yeah.
Okay. Then I have another one, and then we can go on to whatever here. But a remake of Point Break is coming out.
I never saw the original.
Oh,
What?
you haven't? That
No.
gem?
Oh, that is your
that gem of a movie.
That is your era, and like
Oh.
your that fits your bill so
That's-
well. You would love it.
that's
Patrick
Keanu-
Swayze. You cried to him.
Oh my God! Don't remind us.
Oh.
Wow, Sonia, what do you feel about
Oh.
that?
Keanu Reeves being
Mhm.
Keanu Reeves.
Oh, man.
But will it star the? Well, it can't star the two of them. Whoops, sorry about that.
No, I don't think either of them are in it. It's
Oh, I know.
it's
Oh, that
That's
makes me
poor
wanna
taste.
cry.
I'm sorry about that.
it's a it's just a reimagining or a complete remake. It's like straight up.
I don't know. One of the things that is really hard, I think, for modern films to do is to make them unapologetically cheesy.
Oh yeah.
Like I don't know if the 80s was apologizing at the time, you know?
Right.
Like now we're looking back and we're like, oh, that's so cheesy. But there's something about it where it's okay. It's an 80s film and it's so enjoyable because you know it's going to be cheesy.
I
Like,
love Point Break.
The
cheesy
Brady Bunch
movies
movie
now
pulled that
are
off
not.
well. Remember the Brady Bunch movie?
Oh, yeah.
That pulled off the. You don't remember this?
Yeah.
I've never seen the Brady
Oh
Bunch movie.
man, they
Oh.
you know they
I've
made
seen
a
the Brady
movie
Bunch a
adaptation
lot.
of the TV show with that intentional
Yeah.
corniness, and they did it well, like with a wink and a smile to the camera the whole time. It
They
was
did.
really
But-
very good. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean I loved Point Break. I thought it was great, and it was totally nothing I was familiar with at all. It's like for James. I mean, I think I just have to explain the plot to you if you've never seen it.
I know the plot.
Okay. I mean, surfers robbing banks, and like the old Ohio State quarterback is now an like undercover FBI agent, and his name is Johnny Utah. How could you not
Oh,
love
man.
that? Oh my God, it's amazing.
All right,
Anyway, okay, let's move. Those are some upcoming movies.
Yeah.
I'm curious about. But what are some things we've seen recently? Sonia, we'll start with you. Anything you've seen recently that you've really enjoyed?
Oh, yes. Hector and the Search for Happiness.
Ooh. Oh, I heard about that.
Yeah.
That's Simon Pegg, right?
Simon Pegg, really, really excellent film. It just, I don't know, it hits on all these really joyous and scary moments that you can have in your life, and it doesn't fit the formula of a romantic comedy like a lot of other movies.
I heard
I've
it got
seen.
mixed reviews because people weren't ready for the tone of the movie.
Yeah.
But
It was real.
Yeah.
I like real. It was real.
Wow.
You know, like spoiler alert, you kind of think it might not work out, and then it.
Oh.
Yeah.
And then it doesn't.
Nothing. I got nothing to say. Nothing to say.
Oh, you said spoiler, and then you didn't give the spoiler.
No, I think I
Yeah,
did.
that's what James
I
all
was
did.
subtle. I was subtle.
You were as subtle as the political messaging in the Hunger Games.
Right.
Okay, that's a good one. James, what about you? What have you
All
seen
right.
recently?
Halloween passed recently, as our listeners know. Right, Kyle and I.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Somehow we survived that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Huh.
don't
I'm
know.
so glad.
Interesting. Anyway.
Yeah.
I
I don't remember Halloween too much.
You know, I have, yeah, I don't know. I listened to it, and I don't know how we. Anyway, we're here and we're alive. I promise this isn't our doppelgangers or anything. My brother subjected me to his favorite Halloween crutch movie, and it was one called Silent Hill. Have you ever heard of this piece of shit?
It's based off of a video game franchise.
A movie based on a video game, and you know. Sorry, Kev, that movie sucked. I mean, I told him as soon as it wrapped up, it was just such garbage. If
that
you had,
video game, by the way, is one of the most pooped my pants moments I have ever experienced
A video
of
game.
my
Of a
life.
video game.
a video game.
It was so immersive to like tricking you into being immersive and like getting you. It's an interesting psychology experiment. Less of a game and more of like a traumatic experience where when you're the one that's like controlling what's happening, it totally feels different. But I heard the movie sucked.
Oh,
So
it
I just wanted to.
We don't have to spend time on it. It sucked. That was my most recent movie experience. Kyle, what have you seen lately?
Interesting. I saw a Halloween movie recently too that was actually a straight to video, straight to like DVD or whatever release that now has like a huge cult following, which is kind of cool. It's called Trick or Treat.
Oh.
And it's
No, it wasn't what I was thinking.
sorry, but it was really interesting. It tried to do something really cool, which was have like kind of an anthology about a bunch of Halloween stories happening on the same night that tied into each other. So there were like little vignettes going on, and it had some really memorable characters and scares and like terror in it, and it was interesting. And I heard they're making a sequel now that's going to go to the theaters because of the post success of the film since it's come out. So I watched that recently, and that was really good.
Nice.
We kind of missed the season there now, but that was a good one that I saw. What about you? Back to you.
Yeah, connected to that.
Okay.
I'm sure it probably has a cult following already now, but I saw Grabbers
Grabbers!
the other night.
Grabbers! Oh, it's so good!
You have to fill
What'd you think?
Well,
Sorry, I already
well,
opinionated.
Think like little Irish island town, and there was this monster, this squiddy urchin monster that tries to suck their blood, and the only way that they can defeat it is by being drunk, because alcohol is poisonous to these animals.
It's
hilarious.
Wonderfully hilarious.
Is this on the Sci-Fi Channel or something?
No,
it
was
like
on
an
theaters?
independent film,
Yeah.
like entry and winning of some film festival.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
Yeah, it was
and
really
it's if you
my
like
kind of movie.
funny like monster movie things. Oh my god, I'm so glad you liked that.
Yeah, I really did.
It has some really great comedy in it, and there's a marine biologist in it who has some of the best lines in the entire movie
yes.
with these Irish islander people, and it's just a wonderful, wonderful film.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so glad you liked it.
If you like corny, pretty good graphics.
Oh yeah, the
actually.
CG was really well
good
done.
graphics, corny graphic films about sea monsters. Please go see this film.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah, that kind of a quick aside. If you ever watch low budget sci-fi movies that I'm gonna bridge here and say that aren't on the Sci-Fi Channel because they go a completely different route with them. But I saw a movie called Monsters, which is kind of in the same vein as Grabbers. It's very serious though. It's not a comedy. But low budget, and when they have a low budget, they're really careful with it, and you can get some really amazing visuals because they know that they don't have enough money, so the monster's only going to be on the screen like a couple of times, so they have to plan the story around that, and it ends up enhancing the movie
So much
tenfold.
suspense.
I'd recommend Monsters.
Yeah.
I saw it again recently, so that's a good one. What about you, James? Give us another one.
All right, another one I've seen recently was probably about 2 months ago now at this point. The Stanford Prison Experiment.
Oh, yeah.
All right, this was essentially a docudrama about the actual experiment took place at Stanford University in the 70s, mid to late 70s. I don't have the exact date. Just terrific acting. You really felt immersed in this tiny little world because they carried out the whole experiment in just a couple of hallways of the campus where they selected young men to be either prisoners or inmates, and they simulated a prison experience. And it is quite the famous psychological experiment that was run, and boy, it was just treated so well. I highly recommend Stanford Prison Experiment. Go see it.
I've
My
heard of
mom
the
likes that.
experiment. Yeah.
That means a lot. She wanted to tell me the whole entire plot.
Who did?
My mom.
Oh, yeah, no, it was great. It was the only other time I felt like an intense, heavy weight was resting on my chest for an entire movie. That was No Country for Old Men.
Oh.
Remember watching that movie and you just
Oh
felt
my
like,
God.
from beginning to end, you felt like a massive anvil was like resting on your chest the whole movie because it's so intense and you can't exhale. You're like, for fear that, I don't know, it just weighs on you. Stanford Prison Experiment does that to you too. The whole movie you're sitting like, good God, will this ever end? Like, holy cow! It escalates. Yeah.
Resolves. Hopefully.
Well,
Who knows?
I don't
You
want to give the
leave
spoiler
with
away.
a cardiac arrest.
Oh no, it's intense. Highly recommend it. Go.
Okay, so that's another good one. Another one that I saw recently, and I know that I've mentioned this probably on a couple podcasts before, is called The Gift. If you like good,
have to see it.
you have to see it. If you like really good suspense, tension, good story, really good directing, and everything, that was one I saw recently. That it's the first time in a long time that I've been in the theater, literally on the edge of my seat, and have jumped and had just stress pains from watching the movie. And when it was over, I was like, yeah, like well deserved.
Is it still in? It's not still in theaters, right?
Oh, I think it's out on DVD now, which means it'll probably be on Netflix or in Ecuador on the street soon. So,
You want me to pick you up a copy?
Yeah.
All right. Give me a
any
copy.
other ones that anybody saw recently they want to talk about before I get to a couple that are still in the theater that I missed that I want people to send in stuff about?
I recently saw on television Finding a Friend for the End of the World.
Oh, was that good?
And it was really good. It was one with Keira Knightley and that other guy from 40-Year-Old Virgin that I can't remember the name of. And yeah,
Steve
it
Carell.
was Steve Carell,
Yeah.
that guy. It was really surprising, and I had no knowledge of it going in, and just I don't know.
Interesting.
Really enjoyed it.
Very interesting.
What'd you
Also, we haven't discussed it yet on a podcast, but the new Mad Max, I'm sure that the buzz has probably gotten around, but I thought that was a phenomenal movie. Did anybody else see it
Yeah.
yet? You saw
Wait, is there another Mad Max that I'm missing out on?
The one
Fury
with
Road.
it? Fury Road, yeah.
Loved it.
He still hasn't seen it.
Loved it.
I have it here on my list, Kyle, but I decided not to discuss it because I tried to watch it
Oh,
recently
no.
on a
Oh, no.
flight and I fell asleep.
Oh my God.
I fell asleep.
Fail.
That's sad.
It might be
sad.
the most intense movie I've ever fallen asleep in the middle of because
Wow.
Post-grape, yeah, that
Hey,
it's
you
action
know,
on top of
does
action.
not
and I
surprise
was
me.
like,
It was
"Oh."
on a plane. Maybe you didn't have enough tomato juice.
Oh,
Like,
right.
I get
Something.
it. It's,
Planes are the worst.
You know, that's not an
All right,
indicator.
I'm forgiven.
Yeah.
Okay, a couple I missed that I want listeners. If you've seen these movies, I implore you to send us some things at loudontheset@gmail.com. Some that I wanted to see. You guys can weigh in on this as well. Bridge of Spies, new Steven Spielberg movie with Tom Hanks about the Cold War. Anyone?
I've heard of it, but I haven't seen it.
Okay, I'm excited to see it. Somebody tell me if it's good or not. I want to go see it. And tell me why you think it's good or not, because I'm not just taking anybody's word for it. Another one I wanted to see is the Steve Jobs biopic.
Oh, fuck him. God damn it. Fuck that guy. Like, the worship of... How many movies have been based on his life? He passed away, like, what, 2 years ago?
Mm-hmm. One came out, like, way immediately, which was kind of creepy with Ashton Kutcher, and it just, like, bombed. Yeah. But the reason I'm interested in seeing this is because Danny Boyle is the director, and I've loved every single movie I've ever seen of his. 127 Hours being one of the most recent ones. Slumdog Millionaire, the guy's amazing. And the writer of it, oh my God, he wrote for The West Wing. Can't remember his name. I love you, man. He's fantastic, and he wrote it, so I'm excited about that one.
I tell you what, all the movie that fucking Steve Jobs movie is about to make, maybe they'll take that.
All the money.
What did I say? All the movies?
All the movies, yeah.
All the money that movie's gonna rake in. I'll tell you what. Why don't we just sink it into the accounts that asshole died with? Died a multi-billionaire. What the fuck? If you're gonna be that rich, do something with your money. Sorry, my worldview creeped me in, but I hate that prick.
That's some realism right there.
Oh my God! Don't get me
Aaron
started.
Sorkin. That's his name. That's a screenwriter. He's wonderful. He wrote The Social Network as well, if anybody saw that. Okay, the last one I was interested in that I missed in the theater that I was kind of bummed about, because this is from another one of my favorite directors, Dennis, French last name. I think it's Villeneuve. I
Can't
don't
help you there.
I love you as well. Director of such great films as Enemy with Jake Gyllenhaal. If you haven't seen it, see it immediately. It's wonderful. And also Prisoners. Oh, if you haven't seen that, go see it.
Kyle's zooming past us now at 100 miles an hour.
Go see it. It's wonderful.
I'm
But
kind of feeling like you on this podcast. I'm like, I haven't seen it.
Hey.
Seen it? Oh.
Yeah.
Prisoners had Hugh Jackman in it, and
I can get behind
and
that.
lots of other people, and it was and also Jake Gyllenhaal, and it was a very amazing and powerful and like horrible, heartbreaking character study mystery thing, and you should just see it if you haven't. And Enemy was one of the best movies I've ever seen, so watch that immediately. But Sicario is the name of this film. Any advertisements seen about this?
What's it about, real quick? I might.
It's about the border, the U.S.-Mexico border, and the DEA drug stopping and stuff. And I thought the previews were terrible after I read some reviews and read about the film, because I thought they didn't do it justice at all. It looked like a completely different movie. It looked like some stupid, mindless action crap. And
like American Sniper.
Right. No, I heard that was pretty good, too. I didn't see it, though.
Oy.
I like Clint Eastwood, but
all right, I'll stop.
He's kind of crazy now.
My world
I love you, Clint Eastwood, but you're crazy. I've loved every movie you've ever made, too, you SOB. Okay, so Sicario is another one I wanted to see. So send us stuff. But anyway, that pretty much brings us to the end of the podcast. Final closing thoughts. Sonia, do you get really excited for movies when they're coming out?
If someone shoves a trailer in my face, usually yes. If it's about something that I've been connected to in the past, I love movies. I just don't watch TV, so I don't get a lot of filtering in of info for new movies.
Very fair. Very fair. James?
Other than what we've already talked about, Batman versus Superman, early 2000. What year are we in? We're in 15, 16. So early 2016. Looking forward to it.
Interesting. Yeah, I wasn't
down with Ant-Man.
I wasn't thrilled. I wasn't thrilled with the new Superman movie that came out.
It's flawed. To be.
But anyway, that brings us to the end here. So, Sonia, thank you so much for joining us to talk about some movie news. Anybody, if you've seen any of the movies we have talked about, you're excited for some of them as well, some that we haven't mentioned, please send us some emails, loudontheset@gmail.com. Check us out on iTunes and YouTube. And again, thank you so much for being here, taking some time with us, Sonia. Go see some good movies. Talk to us about them. Let's create that dialogue about...
See some bad movies, too.
Oh, yeah. Those are even funner to talk about. Funner. More fun. Yes. Excellent. I'm good at that. Okay. Great. Go see the movies. Have a good time. Thanks again.
See you later.
Bye.
And cut.